we work out 5 days a week, every day. Luckily, we get them in class. Ask our football team what our 4 core values, and they're going to tell you work hard, be respectful, others first, and family.
I don't measure my leadership by the amount of followers that I have. I measure my leadership by the amount of other leaders I develop. Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Called2Serve podcast. I am your host, Reggie Hubbard. I am here with a very special guest today, Mr. Coach Eric Godfree. Now, let me give y'all a rundown about my man, Eric Godfree here. Man, he's been coaching for over 26 years. Most of those years as a head coach. He's a family man, so he's devoted to his family, and he's got over 100 career wins, which is a huge accomplishment. I'm not going to steal all of his thunder, but I just wanted to make sure that I gave him a shout out. Eric, welcome, brother.
Yes, thank you so much. We appreciate you having us.
Man, dude, so it's no surprise that we had your brother on the podcast before.
Yes, and I got to listen to it, and it was really good. Like I said, so it was enjoyable, and he's the one who called me right away, and he says, "Man, you got to come check this podcast out and get over here." And so,
yeah, man,
love what your whole platform and what you stand for.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it, man. Well, today is just about you. It's about honoring you and talking a little bit about what led you on the path that you're on. So if you could tell us about yourself, man. Like.
Yes, absolutely. I'll start when I was young.
Yeah, please.
So this weekend, the last 2 days, I've had opportunity to hang out with a lot of football coaches and from high school to college and all of them, and was actually sitting down and talking to one of them, and he was talking about our journey and our path and to get into coaching. And so he said, when did you know? Because he went into business first, wasn't really sure, but then he always knew he wanted to be a coach. And I said, honestly, I was in 8th and 9th grade, and I knew I wanted to teach math and coach football. So I did. So I went on to be a math major and have coached football, and I taught math for a long time. I do weight training now. You can't be a head football coach and a full-time math teacher. It's too much. But
okay.
But all this was influences from my father. He coached us in rec league coming up, and he didn't have an opportunity to finish college, all that kind of stuff. So he wasn't able to be at the high school, that kind of stuff. But he coached us all the way through every sport coming up. And then when I got to 8th grade in high school, and just the men that coached me and mentored me, and I wanted to be like them. And really cool is so I graduated high school, played football and wrestled, played 1 year of baseball. Wish I'd have stuck with that too. And then went and played college ball at Presbyterian College. And right when I got to college, I come back to Parkview High School,
wow,
which is where I played, and I got to be an assistant football coach with guys that mentored me. The guys that the reason I wanted to be teacher and coach was these guys in the building. So then I get to coach with them, and just a great experience. Dennis Strami and Robert Hill and Cecil Flo, Tom Buglis. All these guys were big mentors in my life, and seeing what they do and the successes they had. And we had a lot of successes, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of. And so then I get to start doing the journey on the totally different side, the coaching side.
Man, how cool is that?
Yeah, it is. It's a great journey. Like I said, so I've known early on, and it is a passion. And like I said, it really is. Nobody likes to wake up that early, but every day I wake up, I know I'm going to do something I love, and so it's not necessarily work.
Yeah, man. That's actually really cool. So your mentors, you got to really kind of work with them and coach with them and teach with them, work by their side. Do you think that kind of gave you like a leg up in being there, just because you had that relationship with them prior to you being, I guess, certified?
Right, for sure. Yeah, no, honestly, yes, it did. For me, having played football under Cecil and wrestled under Dennis and Big, the guys, those coaches that were there, it definitely did give me a leg up on that end.
Yeah,
and we talk about it to our players all the time. But every day is an interview. You get one first impression. And so literally my whole high school career was an interview with those guys.
I love that.
And then so they pulled me to come back and to be with them, and then to enjoy the successes and be a part of the successes they've built and to be a part of. So it definitely did help. Yeah, being a part of that, and doing things right. I'm not perfect by all means, but for the most part, good high school student, pretty good athlete and was enjoyable to be around. So like I said, so I got the opportunity to go back. And I really think that really expedited me getting into be a head football coach as well. Because I knew those guys so well enough that they would share anything with me. They wouldn't hold anything back. They wouldn't hold any secrets. And I was very in tune on asking a lot of questions and learning and not acting like I knew it all, because that's as soon as you start coaching, you find out, I wish I'd have known all of this when I was a player. You learn so much more in whatever sport you're coaching when you start coaching. And just learning from those guys and seeing those guys and being a part of their life and being as close as opportunity I got to be as close with them from being a player, coach, all the way through. I think it really expedited me being a head football coach.
Man, that's really cool. I wonder, right? Because you coached under them, you went to school, you came back, got a job working with them. Did you notice any differences in the dynamics of your relationship? Like, was it kind of weird at first?
Right. Oh, absolutely. And we won't call them by the first name. I'm here. I am calling by but when I see them, I'll call them, Coach Drami, Coach Flo, very rarely we'll call them by, first name, because you're still coach to me. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I've got a guy on my staff now who I coached when I was right out of college, and he's my office coordinator, and we had this conversation the other day. He said, I say Coach Godfrey. I'm not calling him by his first name. He's still coach. And he's not that much younger than me. But that's just the respect we have for those guys. So, but the relationship part, that's very interesting to say. You don't realize, I guess, how much fun that teachers and coaches can have as well. Students, you think, oh, I'm having all the fun. I'm the fun guy. I'm immature and funny, ha, and you find out, oh my gosh, you're a student and you don't quite understand all, humor and great times, all this kind of stuff. And so it's a totally different relationship being on that side of, being the coach side. And it took me probably a year or two to really kind of figure out, okay, wait, I can hang out. Cause I'm a very relational leader, very relational person. But my first year I probably was a little more quiet. Okay, what can I say? What can I not say? What am I supposed to do? What am I not supposed to do? And they embraced me from day one, but that was just me, student, now coach. Trying to figure out what can I do. And so it was a pretty interesting dynamic probably that first year. And then after that, it was like I said, they embraced me from day one, and I finally figured out I can be one of them as well. I can be an adult. And it was very interesting start.
That's very cool, man. So I can imagine that there's a sense of pride there, especially when you're talking to your students now, your athletes now, because you essentially have roots right where they're at.
For sure.
So you can be like, hey man, like I used to be in your shoes, literally. Right.
Yeah. It gets me fired up when players say, yeah, hey, I'm interested in coaching. And I've had some, as players, I say, hey, come on, you can sit and we'll talk, we'll walk through things, and because it's a totally different side. The players just see the coaches on the field, and then they don't understand the amount of hours and time and prep and all that goes on with having a good program to prepare. And so it's like when I got players that say they want to coach, I get pretty fired up about it, and I don't want to help those guys because I was given so much and given so much help. I want to have an opportunity to give that back, and so yes, it is pretty neat. Like I said,
man.
Yeah, and some people are like, oh man, the teaching profession, you need to get out of it. I love it. I'm encouraging people to do it.
And that actually leads into my next question for you. What advice would you give to young students or young adults that want to get into coaching? What if somebody came to you and said, hey, Coach Godfrey, I'm thinking about becoming a coach. What advice can you give me?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. And ultimately it's don't come in the room acting like it's bad. There's a lot of young guys coming into the profession thinking, oh, I should be a coordinator right now. I should be calling the offense. I should call the defense. I should have, all this extra responsibility and do this stuff. And my biggest part of advice would be go, listen, learn, work really, really hard. You're not going to make a whole lot of money to start off. But it's so rewarding that the money won't matter. But just come in, work, show up early, stay late, ask the head coach for other responsibilities. What can I do? Can I take something off your plate? Can you go line the field? Take on more responsibilities. And the more time, more ownership you have and taking on responsibilities, the more the coach wants to, promote you and have you trust you more and give you more things to do. And so my biggest piece of advice, like I said, would be to come in, work really, really hard, and do a really, really good job at it. Be detailed with it. Don't just go through the motions. Don't just do something because somebody said do it. And if somebody gives you a small job and you think, oh, man, I'm low man on totem pole, that's why I got the job, go do that job to the best of your ability. And when you do that, coaches notice. And they recognize. And just like I said, every day is an interview. And, before they know it, it's 3, 4, 5 years, there might be a guy on their staff that took a head coaching job somewhere. And, hey, I want this guy to be one of my main guys. Just so that humble boldness, that's kind of one of our mottos as a family. Everywhere we've gone, we always say we want to be humble boldness. We're humble people, but we're going to be very bold where we're at. We walk into a stadium. If it's an away stadium, we're going to own that stadium. Yes, sir. It's our home. This is where we're at. And so we're going to be bold in everything we do, but with the humility of respecting our opponent and other people. And so that's something. Come in with humble boldness and get to work.
100%. I love that. Humble boldness. That's great, man. So let's kind of transition here a little bit. All right. So we're talking about being a coach as in reference to having athletes. Let's talk about being the coach as how does that affect being a father? How does that affect being a husband? Let's talk about that. Right, what is that like?
Right. Absolutely. And so luckily I got a great wife who's always been super involved. Our kids, I got 3 kids, and would bring them to every game that we've been to. And basically in the fall, there's 6 months a year, I'm just not home very much. And but she made every point possible, just bring them to the field house. Even now we got coaches and young kids. I'm y'all bring them, let them run around. Let them be a part of this big family. And so she made them available as much as possible, so they could be around me and go to the field house. And it's funny, all the college coaches come through. I got my 2 girls are in college, and then my son is a sophomore and is now picking up a lot of football offers. But a lot of the college coaches come in and they literally go, hey, I remember when your kids were this big, they would sleep up under my desk. They'd be asleep on the couch. And coaches, when they would come through Parkview, would be, we're talking players and all this kind of stuff. And my kids are waiting for the bus and in my office just, sleeping. And so it really is fun just having our whole family involved in that. And we really do try to be exactly who we are. Like, so how I am at home is how I am on the field, how I am coaching, teaching, living life as a father, as a coach, is to be a father to all these players. So our family, standards, our family core values. If you ask my 3 kids, what makes dad proud? What makes mom and dad so proud of you, love you no matter what? And it's work hard, be respectful, and follow Christ. And if they'll do those things, and if you go in my house, you'll see pictures of, every kid is holding one sign, one's holding to work hard, one's holding to be respectful, one's holding to follow Christ. And that's just it. You can make B's and C's if you're doing those 3 things. So proud of you. If you're playing baseball and you strike out 3 times, man, if you're working hard, being respectful, and following Christ, so proud of you. So it's not about a performance base. Now, luckily, I'm blessed with really athletic kids and really smart kids, and so they perform really good in school and really good on the field. So I'm very blessed in all that. So, but they know it's not about their performance, and so really we take the exact same core values on our football team. So our 4 core values. If you ask my children, that's their 3. They know those 3. Ask our football team what are our 4 core values, and they're going to tell you: work hard, be respectful, others first, and family. I mean, ultimately, others first and family is follow Christ. I just can't say that, in a public school campus. So like I said, those are our 4 core values. Our players know them. And so really it does, like I said, just talking about relating, being a father and a coach and family. And so we try to incorporate all of our families in one big community all into what we do with our team.
That's really cool, man.
Just, a lot bigger than just our team itself.
That's really cool, man. And Coach, you're a very popular guy, man. Word gets around that you're going to be on Called2Serve podcast, man. I'm so glad to have you. So one of our viewers had a question for you. Okay, so yes. The question is it okay to say he's good now?
Oh, my gosh. I know exactly who you're talking about, Lewis. I know, yeah, because that's my poor son. He's a really good football player. I would never say he's good. Every time Lewis would be like, hey, I mean, he's really good, but I always tell him the things he's got to work on, things he's got to get better at. Now he's got to improve in here. I'd never say he's at that point. And then he ended up picking up several offers after his freshman year, so a lot of big-time schools thought he was really good. And I still was, but he still got this to work on. He's still got this to work on. And it's funny. So after we did several camps at Ohio State, and UNC, and FSU, and all these places, and he was one of the top-performing guys every time we go to camp. And I think it was after the Ohio State one. Jake and I were sitting eating dinner, and I said to him, Jake, you're actually pretty good. I remember telling Lewis that story, and he's like, "Oh, you finally said it. You finally said it." So
finally said it.
How about that?
How about that, man? He was like, "I don't want you getting his head too big." That's
That's right.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, man. Yep, it was Lewis. You're busted, Lewis.
That's right.
Busted. He knew right away. So, Coach, talk to us about your program.
Right. Yes. So, and when you say program, it's exactly right. It really is not just the results, what you get to see on Friday night, or the of all the hard work, and so this is what everybody gets to see, everything we've done and worked for, and that's the little bitty portion that people see is what's on Friday night. Yeah. But the program as a whole, something that I'm very proud of, that I'm proud of all my coaches, my staff, and the way our players react to all of them, and because I'm one man. And not one man can run a program. Yeah. You got to have great people around you, and I've got a really good staff. I've been very blessed every place I've been to be able to hire good people. That I got a motto. We're going to work really well. My motto is life is too short. I'm not going to be miserable. So we're going to work really, really hard, but have a good time doing it.
Life is too short to be miserable.
Yes, I refuse to be miserable. The day that I'm miserable in what I do day in and day out, then I need to go find something else to do. But also, I'm maybe a little weird. Like, the harder I work and the more crap, whatever it is, got to do and get right and fix, and there's a little something here, make it better. It makes me, I feel better. So it is a lot of time, a lot of work, and all that stuff. So that's what I tell them. So we're going to work really hard, but have a good time doing it. And that's really, it sums up a lot of our, as far as program wise, but just overall program from the strength training. We work out 5 days a week. Every day, luckily we get them in class. So we have a football weight training class when they're all in there. So 5 days a week, it's working out, it's plyometrics, it's core, it's stretching. It covers a lot of this as far as the physical body. Mm-hmm. And then if we go through an off season, we're getting ready to start up. We wait till basketball's done, basically. So into February, we start back with some after school stuff, and again, so we do some football 101 with the offense and defensive meetings. We're not allowed to have a football as a team yet. We've got to do some 4-on-1s, but not as a whole team. So we'll do a lot of stuff with no football for 2 days a week, leading up until spring practice. And then we jump into spring practice and play. And then our summer's full. And we take our kids to Georgia and Auburn and Georgia Tech. We go to different 7-on-7 camps, and offensive line, D-line guys get to go. And it's because we really get those guys exposure to the big campuses, and a lot of other college coaches are there too, not just those college or just those coaches. And so we try to do a lot to get our kids experiences. That's this coming Friday night is a night to shine. There's really is so much. You're talking about a whole program. It's we tell our kids we want to challenge y'all physically, spiritually, and mentally. We want y'all to be great in all 3 areas, and we push it. We push them really, really hard, physically and mentally. And then I tell them all the time, y'all got to challenge yourselves spiritually. Something you should do. You need to go challenge yourself, because we're pushing their physical, mental really hard, really tough. Like I said, this Friday night's an opportunity for our kids to give back and to serve. There's a night to shine where they get to go, and we have most of our team does it. It's really cool. They sign up, and so they end up being basically a prom date for a special needs child.
Very cool.
And it's an amazing event. The Gwinnett Church puts it on. It's a Tim Tebow deal.
Okay.
So it's right here in our community, and I said it's an awesome event. So every year, like I said, I got to go when I first showed up on the job. It was like the very first week I had the job, and they said, "Hey, you need to go to this event." I'm like, okay, I'll go. And then I sold from day one, walking in the door and seeing it. And so it's a cool opportunity. Just talking about overall program, we try to give our kids opportunities to serve. We help during the summertime with a special needs Happy Feet, which is just right down the road from us, and our kids go play kickball and do some different things with them, and do that during the summertime. So we really do try to have an entire program of serving, of giving back. That's what I tell them all the time. The biggest joy, so the work hard, be respectful. That's our kids do a great job of it. That's what I say. If you want to be on our team, you have to do those two things. Those are the things that everybody should do that. The hard one is other first, especially for high school kids.
Right.
Talking to others first, just tell them, hey, if you want the ultimate joy in life, go help somebody and expect nothing in return. Help somebody that cannot give you anything in return, and you'll have a true blessing, and you'll really have joy that you just don't understand. Not sometimes not even a football game can give you, and so that's the whole others first piece of it.
That's powerful, man.
Yes, and that's so. And again, program. It's really a lot to aside from speed, strength, skill development. Outside of all that, and developing schemes and systematic offense and defense, especially outside of all that, we do even more as a program. If that makes sense, we really do want to grow men and see them be successful.
Yeah, I love that. How you were saying, when you can give without expecting anything in return. One of my favorite books, if not the favorite book, it's a short read. It's called The Go-Giver. And it talks about the 5 laws of stratospheric success. And the first law is to always give more in value than you can ever receive in payment. And it's just an emphasis on giving. It's funny how it works that the people who give more receive more.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's a universal law. If you want to receive more, then you need to give more. But it's not just about the act of giving. It's where your heart is. Mm-hmm. Right? You being a cheerful giver, right?
Right.
Because that's when you get the real rewards.
That's right.
Right? We're not just talking about a tangible or a monetary or anything like that. You giving can change somebody's life. Mm-hmm. Essentially, it can save somebody's life.
Right. That's right.
Just you giving your time, right? Having a conversation with someone. They could have been thinking about doing something bad to themselves, and just because you cared enough to have a short conversation with them and really let them know that you cared about them and that you see them, mm-hmm. that can make all the difference. You gave them your time. Now their life is saved for that.
That's right.
So I am a huge proponent for giving, and I believe that that's the best thing that one of the best things that you can do is live to the fullest potential that God created you mm-hmm. for.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's the best way to honor him.
That's right.
In my opinion.
Yes.
Is to live up to the fullest potential that he created you for, because we're all predestined for greatness.
That's right.
That's
my definition of success.
Yeah.
You live up to your potential.
Yeah.
And that's my object as a coach, is to get you to your potential, what you believe your potential is, and then get you even a little higher.
Yeah.
Get you a little better than your potential. And then I feel like I did a good job as a coach. Because Michael Jordan's potential is way up here, and mine's way down here. But I always say, I'll leave Michael Jordan out of it because he reaches his potential. If we got a player who's got potential way up here, and another player's potential is down here, so this player, he's playing here right now, so he's better than this guy, but he's playing here, but his potential's up here. I don't consider him a true success until he reaches his potential or beyond, versus this player this is as good as he can get. This is a potential, but he's playing that good, maybe just a little higher. Now, he's not near as good as the other kid, but I consider him very successful because he has reached his potential in his God-given talent and pushing hard to do that and stretching himself to further beyond than he thought he could do. So I'm with you on that 100%.
I love that, and I want to share something with you. This is this is my favorite quote, and this quote literally changed my life. When I was in the Army, I served 14 years in the Army.
Thank you.
I was a young soldier. Thank you. I was a young soldier, and my squad leader at the time, he told me this quote. He kind of reeled me in because, when we're talking about potential, he saw potential in me, and he said, you know what? You're not living up to your fullest potential, man. Pretty much. And he said, I want you to listen to me, what I'm going to tell you, and I never want you to forget it. Remember this, right? Internalize this. I train to be perfect. Perfect I will never be. Therefore, I will always train. When he said that to me, within seconds, something just changed. I could feel something change internally. My mind was just in awe. He said, never become complacent. Complacency kills. And what I took from that is, man, like, I'm not living up to my fullest potential. Like, I can do better. I can execute. We were on a state honor guard. We're active duty honor guard. And what we did every day was lay veterans to rest. We performed the military funeral honors. I've probably done about 1,500 to 2,000 military funerals. So we were the guys that completely silently rendered military funeral honors. We did the folding of the flag. We played the taps on bugle. We did the pallbearing. We did the 6-man flag fold. We did the firing parties, 3-gun salutes, 21-gun salutes. Everything completely methodical, silent, very deliberate. It was an honor to do that. That was probably one of the most rewarding things that I've ever done in my life.
I got chills. Wow.
Giving the final honors to these veterans. And when he told me that, I began to execute in every aspect of my life. Just changed. Everything changed, man. I became a different human.
Right.
It says that he who is in Christ is a new creature, right?
That's right.
Dude, when he told me that, I became a different beast.
That's awesome.
I just became this just laser focused soldier.
Right.
And that just raised my standards for everything in life, because we have goals and we have standards.
Right.
Right. And I love that you and your family have those standards that you have.
I appreciate that.
I love that you have standards for your team. If you're going to be on our team, this is what you got to do.
Right.
There is no negotiating. This is our standard. Either you meet the standard or you go somewhere else.
That's right.
Right. And I just love that, man. So thanks so much for sharing that.
I appreciate it. And I appreciate you sharing that, and I know it's your DI superior and whoever it was that told you that, and to see your reaction, that's what us coaches get fired up. I get to see kids be successful, they click, they get it, their mind goes right, and to see them go from a freshman, immature freshman, to next thing their sophomore year a little better. Okay, I'm acting a lot better, and then they're senior, they're leading, the way they're working, the way they're performing on the one of the biggest joys that we get as coaches is seeing that development. And seeing a change in them to maturity, a change in them to be a better person. And I said, so, he said it to you, and the way you reacted blessed him greatly.
Well, yeah, because you think about it this way, man. Like, as a coach, you're supposed to be a leader.
Right.
You're supposed to be a leader. And, me personally, I don't measure my leadership by the amount of followers that I have. I measure my leadership by the amount of other leaders I develop.
That's good.
That's the point of being a leader. And, a leader, in my definition of a leader, is anyone who has the ability to influence others to accomplish organizational goals. Right? Mm-hmm. As a coach, that's what you're doing. Right, you are influencing. You have this ability to influence these athletes, right, to accomplish the organizational goals of your program, right?
Yep.
Which is to, be respectful, right, to do their best that they can, to live to their fullest potential, to win.
That's right.
You're leading people, and you are training them to be winners, not just in a football game, but in life.
Yes, 100%.
Right, to win, because the way I'm not a football player. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I'm big enough to be a football player. But you know what I mean?
And then you got to be really fast. If you're not real big, you better be fast.
You get what I'm saying? I mean, I could probably moss somebody real quick. I probably would have been a good wide receiver
and give some or
running back. I'll cook some of these players, man. Hey, I'm still kind of fast, man. You know what I mean? At least I like to tell myself
That's right, exactly.
I like to tell myself that, but yeah, man, I think that's just awesome.
I would appreciate it, yeah. And then that's the big joy. And like I say, because it really is talking about the results of we all want to push for the same what the organizational goals are. And I'm really running a football team is like running a business. And,
yes.
And being a CEO of a business and running all of it because we all have different jobs to push for one organizational goal. And it really is more than we want to win. Winning's fun. That's part of my motto, I don't want to be miserable. Life's too short to be miserable. So we need to win because I don't want to be miserable. And so it is a big, big part of it. But like I said, in the end, it's the winning in life that they're really learning.
Heck yeah, man. That's super awesome. So, I mean, can you talk to us about some of the people who have, gone through your program, kind of what they're doing now, some of their accomplishments or anything like that?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And I say what's neat. So my very first head coaching job, we had a junior running back, and he basically lived in a trailer by himself. Dad was involved, but he wasn't. He pretty much in Texas more than he ever was in Georgia.
Yeah.
And so he literally, can you imagine a high school kid being by himself in a trailer, how much trouble he can get into and all that stuff.
I can imagine.
Right. And he soaked up every bit of guidance that we would, pour to him and teach him. And he, like I said, a starting running back his junior and senior year, had, finished a good career. So I only knew him for 2 years, but he would email me all through college, before the start of every football season. He'd send something just talking about all the lessons and the values that he learned through football and what we coaches, taught. He said, I'm applying those now when I'm in college. He gets out of college. He has a great job in Chicago for the next 5 to 7 years. Was still right before the beginning of football season. Coach Godfree just want to reach back out. And so that went on for probably close to 10 years of him just, shooting the emails and just the difference that football made in his life. And now he's very successful and does great, great stuff in the business world. And, all the way from something like that to a Malik Washington, who is a player that I coached at Parkview, that he's 5'8", not real tall, but one of the best overall athletes I've ever coached, and a phenomenal kid. And he comes to our program, and none of the Power 5 schools at the time, would go on him because he's 5'8", but he's a phenomenal athlete. Gets to go to Northwestern, real smart kid too. Goes to Northwestern, has a great 3 years there, graduates, go to Virginia for a year, and he had every ACC record that year, or the top ACC receiving in basically every stat category there was, and he's playing for the Miami Dolphins now.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, you don't see 5'8" kids playing in the league very much. You got to be really special, and that's him. He was a super special kid. The way he worked, the way he worked in the classroom. Matter of fact, I remember when Stanford came by, and I asked him, I said, would you be interested in Stanford? And he literally said, Coach, this is why I work so hard in the classroom, is for a school like that. So, I mean, it's not just was he just a dynamic player in the field, but also in the classroom. And it really does take that mentality, getting to talk, getting to do a lot of stuff with my own son now, and doing these meeting, going junior days and going on campuses and talking to guys. And the Eagles linebacker coach, he's a defense coordinator now at NC State, and he was literally talking. He said, everybody thinks the NFL is just full of just freak athletes. He said it's probably about 10% freak athletes. I mean, they're just doesn't matter what you do. They're the best in the country. Like, they're the best in the world. They're just they're freakish. He said, but the other 90% are really try hard guys. They're guys that obviously they have talents. Obviously they're very good. Obviously they're very athletic. He said, but they go so above and beyond when it comes to film tape, when it comes to training, when it comes to taking care of their bodies, when it comes to studying the game. Just they're just overly overachievers. And so it's fun to see that and hear that, and go back to our own players and talk about those things. And so like I said, I really have had so many players who just get to be a part of weddings, and going back and seeing just like I said, they've gone on to do really good things. And of course, when I hear about certain kids that weren't sure how they're going to turn out, and they turn out to be great, and whatever they're doing at the time. And so that's something we always push to, just talking about like, citizenship and giving back. And I'm a big Dave Ramsey fan, live like no one now so you can live like no one later, live like no one now so you can give like no one later. And so we talk to our kids about that. We say, hopefully one day you'll be able to give back to your community and be a good citizen in your community and give back because of all the successes you've had. And I really feel like we've had a lot of really good kids we've had an opportunity to coach and just go back and do those things. I got to play with the Stinchcombs when I was at Parkview, and they would come back to Parkview when I was coaching there, and they'd talk with our kids and share with them. And I'm on the edge of my seat. I mean, just hearing their stories, and they're going through. They're both 10-year NFL vets, and both played in Super Bowls, and so just different people we've been able to be around that played with or coached, all that kind of stuff that has been a big blessing to me for sure.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. So I'm curious. So I know, like you said, you've always known that you wanted to kind of be in this role, right? It seems like it's in almost every aspect of your life. I'm curious, if we put being a football coach to the side for just a second, who is Eric Godfree?
Oh, that's I've never been asked that. That's really good. That's really good. So I'm sure you hear say somebody that loves people, that loves all people. Matter of fact, my wife, she says all the time, because very glass full or half full kind of guy. I see the best in people. Some people see a kid and, oh man, he'll never amount to anything. Look what he's doing. And of course, I see all the things that he can do. And so really, somebody who sees the best in people and wants the best for people and does receive joy in his own life and seeing people do well. And matter of fact, I'm not talking about these mission statements and core values. And literally, my mission statement going into all coaching is to add value to people's lives. And so that's so when you take coaching away, I would still be somebody who wanted to add value to people's lives. I'd want to add values to students or coworkers or if I did think about trying to maybe doing a CPA at one time. And then when I was in high school, because I was good at math, and I thought, oh man, then they make good money. Maybe I might do that. And then I found out I'd be like behind a computer all the time, or I wouldn't be around people as much. So I was like, okay, I can't do that.
Lion don't belong in the zoo, baby.
There you go. That's right. That's exactly right. Yes. So that's a great question. So I think it'd be all those things I mentioned right there. Just somebody who enjoys people, loves people, and generally wants to add value to their life. And I love right now helping. I got several coaches just in the area around who have just come. They want to be a head coach, and so we'll just sit down and talk. And if I can help them, I help them. And they all say it was great. And I'm like, did I really help you do anything? So it's just something. So outside of that, take it away, and that'd be who I am. Yeah.
Where do you think that comes from?
That's really good. My parents and my walk of Christ. And I got a big shout out to my twin. I have a twin brother, Daniel, and he had a pretty radical experience to come to Christ right after his senior year in high school. And I've never seen somebody take 18 years of their life and change habits like that. Wow. It can't happen. We humans, we can't do that. We can't take 18 years of the same crap and just change it just overnight. And God did that to him. And so it's a big part of, I guess, testimony in my life. And I always say my biggest, I don't really have a great testimony except Christ at an early age. And so, but I always said the biggest part is the peace that surpasses all understanding. And so really seeing the best in people and being a very relational person is, comes from my dad and mom who are, my dad is a very relational person as well. But then also, again, the Holy Spirit inside giving me the ability to love people. And I'm a very, very forgiving person. I probably forgive too easily. But again, I don't think that's necessarily from me, more so from God. Yeah.
Yeah. 70 times 7.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Forgiving. Yep. Keep forgiving. That's right. Yes.
Right. And so, okay. So you brought up something that's very interesting that most people can't relate to. You have a twin.
Right. Yes.
What is that like, dude? Like,
Oh man, and we look nothing alike. I say look nothing alike. Maybe he's got like sandy blonde hair or reddish blonde hair. He's thicker than me. He's the guy. He can walk in the weight room right now. He's going to throw 315 up. He's going to crush it.
Oh, beast.
And me, I've had to work for every bit of strength I could get. I've had to just really work hard for it. But not him. He'll grab my wrist. I think he's going to break my bones, and that's him. And it was fun. It's like we grew up, brothers, so we fought all the time. But he's also was my best friend, and I pulled for him more than anybody. And that's really how I describe family when I talk about for our football team. Family is our fourth core value. And I said, man, you get brothers, you're going to fight. You get mad at each other. But in the end, who do you want to be the most successful? Your brother. Who do you pull for? Who are you so happy for when they have successes? It's your brother, your family.
Yeah.
As much as you fight and get after each other, you love them much deeper. And so having a twin, it was fun. Always, like I said, always had somebody to play with. Growing up all the way through, and we both played college ball at the same college, and it got to the point where a lot of people if he wasn't with me, the first question wouldn't be, "Hey, Eric," is always, "Where's Daniel?" And so vice versa for him. He'd get that question, and so it was a lot of fun. And but now he lives in Myrtle Beach, and so I try to see him every now and then. I don't get to see him as much.
So twins, y'all ain't like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito
right,
twins,
hey,
right?
Come on now, because he would be that guy. Yeah.
Okay.
He was a state champ wrestler. I was fourth in state in wrestling, so of course he's one up me right there. So
okay, so he's a big guy too.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, yeah. You gotta ask.
That's right. That's right.
You never know. Sometimes twins are quite the opposite.
Right. Yes. So physique wise, like I said, he's a little thicker than me, but we're very similar on that end. And
yeah.
Yes, no Danny DeVitos in our family now.
No Danny DeVito. No Danny DeVitos. No offense, Danny DeVito.
That's yes.
If you ever see this, I think you're a legend.
That's right.
Okay. For the record, Reggie thinks you're a legend. Oh man, dude. Okay. So someone that loves to serve people. That's phenomenal. I mean, you've been doing this for 26 years.
Right. Yes.
Does it feel like
really
it's been 26 years?
And it really doesn't. That's when people ask, how long have you been coaching? Then I started adding it up. Oh, my gosh. Been doing this for a long time. And I do look back to many, many years, and it does seem like it's forever ago when I look back. But the energy that I get from continuing to do my job and love my job. And as people say, you're going to retire in 4 years? I'm like, what am I going to do if I retire? I'm going to get old if I retire. So, So like I said, just –
Man, does it ever hit you when you're like just thinking about how young your athletes are? You can be like, man, dude, I literally have been coaching longer than you've been alive.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely.
And then some.
Yes. I tell you, this is a funny story. It's a little off topic, but funny story. Man. So my kids, when they're little, going through, they do, flashcards. They're little, so you're trying to teach them objects and different things. Well, I remember Jake. The object, it was an old school telephone. Had the rotary. Yeah, it had the rotary. It had the rotary and the handle on it. And Liddy, he comes up and boom, pops up, and Liddy, I go, oh, he's not going to know what that is. And he goes, it's a telephone. He was little bitty. I said, how do you know that? He said, SpongeBob. So on SpongeBob, they had that exact telephone. It wasn't. I was blown away. Okay, hey, SpongeBob is teaching you something. Come on. But that is, like I said, the age difference of what these kids have not experienced. Golly. We got kids born. We were talking about what happened in 2007. We were just talking about the other, some sport event. I can't remember even what it was. And these kids are born in 2008. 2009. Wow. Yeah. So it's like, wow.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not a spring chicken or anything, but, wow. I mean, I was 2007. Whoa. I was on my way. Yeah, I was on my way to the Army. 17 years old.
Wow.
And I was going into the Army.
Wow.
Man, time flies, man. But like I said, when you're doing what you love,
That's
it doesn't really feel like work. You just kind of roll with it, man. It's just, it just seems like this is who you were created to be. You were created to be a coach, man.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Just,
No, yeah, you're right. And if I'd have done something different, I'd have probably been miserable, and I guess would have gone back to it. After like my second year of teaching and coaching. I was offered from a guy at church, did like medical sales, pharmaceutical school sales, whatever it was. And he's telling me, hey, look, you don't have to work as long. You'll make more money. You'll be great at it. You'll crush it. You'll do so well. And literally thought in my mind, gosh, that would be pretty cool. But I wouldn't be as happy. So
there's just a different feeling. But I also believe that you receive different type of revelations when you are walking in your purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's very well said. And absolutely, yes.
There's just a sense of when you are able to do what you love to do every day, what you feel that you've been born to do, there's just a certain level of gratitude that you have for what it is that you do, but for people.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that, because I'm currently doing what I know that I was created to do, or an aspect of what I was created to do.
Yes.
Which is to be a fisher of men, but to be a master gardener. I was created to be a change agent, to lead change wherever I go, for however long that I'm there. I know that that's what I was created to do, is to lead change. So, man, I really feel that very few people get to experience that.
Right. I agree 100%.
Because a lot of the times the target is, let me make as much money as I can,
right,
and work as little as I can.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. And I look back at my dad's life, and he's still alive, but he's old. Love you, Dad. Love you. He worked the same job, I want to say 42 years. And it wasn't, and he managed because he had friends and, they're there, but he did it as a sacrifice to us, me looking back now. And I think that's why he had so much joy in coming home, being with the family and coaching us kids, because that was probably his ultimate, purpose was probably in coaching and being relationals, in those kind of things. And, but at the time it wasn't available for him. And so, he sacrificed all that time, doing that, making that exact same drive and eating peanut butter jelly every single day. And so his joy was when he got home and being with us. So and that spilled over into our life ultimately. So I'm so thankful for his sacrifice of doing that consistently for 40 something years, just so we could try to have what he wanted for like his passion. But you're right, so few people get to. Andy Stanley, I steal something from Andy Stanley. I steal something from everybody. I'm stealing stuff from you, listening to you right now.
All good, man.
But Andy Stanley, he says everybody ends up somewhere in life. Everybody does. We all know that, right? But very few people end up somewhere on purpose. And
come on.
Yes, I love it. And so I literally have tried to live my life to end up somewhere on purpose. Yes. And so it's always, it just keeps you very focus driven. And if it's not gonna, if I'm on this path and there's something that's gonna pull me off the path and not get me where my purpose is, then it's easier to stay away from those things. And if I have that, I know where I want to go, and because I just don't want to end up somewhere in life.
Yeah.
And so that's it. I talk to our kids a lot about that as well. And I talk about my wife's father, who he just ended up somewhere, and ended up not being great for his family, and had a very tough life, and it made it really tough on her early on, and so it's just he just ended up somewhere in life, instead of somewhere on purpose. So, but I think there's so few, as you said, that get to end up where their purpose is, and that joy we talk about, and that peace that surpasses all understanding. That's probably where a lot of it comes from. There's a purpose.
There's a lot of people that just exist. There's not a lot of people that are living.
Right.
Yes. They just exist.
That's right. Yeah. And I guess that brought that up my dad, because I appreciate the sacrifice too. Because sometimes you don't get to job wise to do that actual purpose that you just love. Sometimes we say in football, sometimes you got to embrace the suck. Sometimes it's just going to suck. It's hard.
100%.
Got to embrace it. So he kind of embraced it for a long time with his own job. So that really was a sacrifice, but he still got to do his purpose and joy and love when he got home.
Yeah.
And because if he didn't have that, I'm sure he wouldn't have done his job all that year or all that time, because he knew how rewarding it was when he gets home. And so I appreciate the people that do the sacrifice and embrace the suck part, but can still find their passion and giving it some other way. Like I said, so it might not always be in a job, but it can be in a outside of your job.
Yeah, and it just sounds like, he was doing what he was created to do as far as being a provider.
Right. Yes.
That could have been
Well
one of his main purposes in life, is being a provider, a leader, a mentor.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. A protector.
Mm-hmm.
That's what essentially men were created to do.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And ultimately, you're right. To have said all that, that probably did bring him a lot of joy, because that's exactly what you described is. Yeah.
So I think at the basic level, that's what every, man is created for. Right. When we could get into different relationship dynamics, but this is probably not the podcast.
That's
for
right.
that.
That's right. We're getting deep.
What I mean? Yeah, real deep.
That's right.
But at the end of the day, when he faces the good Lord one day, he's going to ask him, "What did you do with what I gave you?"
That's
and
right.
he's going to have all those answers.
Yep.
He's going to serve faithfully at the same company for 42 years.
Mm-hmm.
I raised up my family the best way that I could to follow you, right? To follow the examples of Jesus Christ, to live up to their fullest potential that you created them for. So well done, Mr. Godfree.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly right.
Well, Coach Godfree, I got one more question for you.
All right. Yes.
Okay. And I love asking this question. I probably ask it just about every podcast, but I just think it's such a great question. What might people be surprised to find out about you?
Oh gosh.
Or to know about you?
Okay. Yes.
That's a different question.
Okay. Yeah. No. That is. Yeah. And some of my friends up here are starting to find out. I really am I'm totally fine making a fool of myself. People laughing at me, I'm totally fine with it. So I like to have a good time.
Yeah.
I suck at singing, but I love karaoke.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the guy. If we go out, 'cause I'm gonna have a good time too. If we go out, I'm gonna end up on the stage and doing something stupid, and I still know my limits. I ain't getting kicked out of places, but I'm definitely pushing the limit on how much fun we can have somewhere. And ultimately, in the end, embarrass myself. I'm cool with it. I like it. So it is funny. People are like, "Oh my God, wait, that's Coach Godfree." Yeah, I like to have a good time. I told you, life's too short to be miserable. I'm not going to be miserable. So in everything I do, I'm going full speed and I'm going to have a good time doing it. And so it is just funny because a lot of people just see me as the coach teacher, and don't wait a second. This guy's actually like a lot of fun. I like to make sure everybody else is having a good time.
Okay,
that's part of my entertainment. That's part of my. I feel like teachers are entertainers.
Yeah, that's part
of my. If we're all going out and doing something, and whatever it is, I want to make sure everybody's entertained and having a good time.
Yeah.
If it's boring, I'm going to try to make sure it's I'm going to unbore it.
Okay, so maybe I might have lied just a little bit. I have one more question.
All right, let's go. Yes.
Do you have a favorite karaoke song?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then sure enough, that's all our close friends are going to tell you it's Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer."
Okay.
Yes. When it plays, it's oh man, I'm at a different level.
You want to give us a line?
Oh my gosh! Hey, you'll lose every listener.
I'll lose every. Okay, let's just keep it at that.
That's right.
Well, Coach Godfree, man, before we let you go, man, I just want to give you something that's near and dear to my heart. Okay, what this is a custom Called2Serve podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Challenge coin. Okay. And the hopes for that is for you to put it somewhere where you'll see it, every now and then, but it just be a reminder of your service to other people. It's our token of appreciation. It's our token of saying, hey, man, we want to give you a little something just to remind you that you are seen and you are appreciated. Even if people don't say it or you don't hear it enough, the real reason why you do what you do. All right. And I believe that that's satisfaction enough.
Awesome.
So, man, every time you look at that coin, just remember that that's our way of honoring you and serving those who serve others.
I appreciate that. Thank you. This is really cool. Yeah, this will definitely be on my desk. So.
Yeah, man. And who knows? Maybe one day we can all get together and do some karaoke.
Let's do it.
I can hold a tune or two. Every now and then. I don't have a favorite karaoke song though. But
well, that sounds like I need to be your backup, and I'll be the entertainer. I'll make up some words.
Maybe we'll get Lewis and Cody in on it.
There we go.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Maybe Jake too.
He'll jump in.
Well, man, thanks so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate you taking the time to bless us with your presence, your knowledge, and your wisdom. Until next time, my guy.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Appreciate you.